Hi, my name is Bob Litchfield, and I want to tell you a story today about a very sweet young lady I met many years ago at a time when she was about 14, whose name was, well, we'll change her name and we'll say that her name was Kyra. I met Kyra at the roller skating rink of all places. My son had been having some trouble with his grades. He was about 14 also at that time. And we made an agreement that if he would get his grades up to a certain level on his testing, that I would take he and his brother and a couple of their friends to the all-night roller skating party at the local roller skating rink. So he got his grades up, and so there I was, committed to be the dad taking the kids to the all-night roller skate. Well, I don't know if you've ever done that before, but if you go to the all-night roller skate as a parent, what you do is you skate for the first couple of hours and you have great fun, and then you start getting blisters on your feet that are about the size of silver dollars, and then you realize that you're tired and that you're not going to get any sleep all night that night, and you end up kind of sitting by the snack table, and the kids keep skating and you sit and watch, and they skate in and out, and you buy them some snacks now and then, but mostly you kind of end up guarding the snack table. So I'm sitting there at the snack table and kids are coming and going, and as the night goes on, I notice this one young lady, this really lovely, sweet young gal, about 14, young blonde-haired gal, who's kind of hanging around the boys, my son and his brother and the other couple of boys, and she kind of comes and goes, but she's kind of hanging around them, and I can tell she kind of has a crush on my son Robbie, and you know, it's 14-year-old puppy love. It's kind of cute to watch, so I'm watching. Unfortunately, all Rob is into at that point in his life is boys and sports and skating, and he's not paying much attention to her. So he skates off, but she's still there. And one of the things I notice about her as a 14-year-old girl is she's very nice to everyone, even Rob's younger brother, Paul, who's about 2 or 3 years younger. And you know, when you're 14, you got the in crowd and the younger brothers, they're kind of the out crowd, but she was nice even to him. So she struck me as kind of an extraordinarily sweet young lady for her age. So she's sitting there as the night drags on hour after hour, and finally I got into a conversation with her and I asked her what her name was, and she said she got this kind of far away, sad, resigned look in her eyes. I didn't know what that was about, but she said, "My name is Kyra." And I said, "Well, Kyra, that's an interesting kind of a name. Is that some particular nationality, or is that an old family name?" So this sweet little girl got this kind of sad, faraway look in her eyes, and she said, "I live with my grandmother because my mother's an alcoholic, and I never knew my dad. And my grandmother told me the story of how I got my name." She said, one night when my mom was pregnant with me and she was drunk, she was trying to think of what to name me, and the radio station that happened to be playing on the radio at the time was KYRA, so she just named me after the radio station, KYRA, and that's my name. That's how I got my name. It about broke my heart to think that this little girl had that kind of a story around how she got her name. She was 14 years old, and there was some part of her that had already decided that she was just throwaway people with a throwaway name. Well, somehow or another I survived my all night at the roller skate rink, and I went home and I slept a bit that morning. But I gotta tell you, I didn't sleep very well for the next 2 nights thinking about that little girl. It seemed to me that there must be something that I could do for her so that she could see her name and her life and her value in a different way. It was really bothering me. I had to come up with something, and I felt so helpless. I had no idea what I could do, so I just prayed about it and I thought about it, and about the second day I got this incredible inspiration, and I knew what I needed to do. I knew what I had to do. So I'm rushing over to the junior high school, and I'm telling them that I want to find this young gal by the name of Kyra. No, I don't know her first name. No, I'm not a relative. She's just a friend of my son, and I just want to find her. At some point, the people in the administration office at the junior high school are kind of looking at me like, whoa, back away slowly. But I finally did find the young lady and had a chance to talk to her, and I made her an offer. And this was basically my offer. I said, now I know that you get a lot of juice out of telling that story about how you got your name. I know I'm not the first one you've told that story to. And it bothers me a little bit about how you wear that story and how you wear your name, because I don't think that that's the best way for you to live your life. So here's my offer. I'm a lawyer and I know how to do legal name changes. If you talk to your grandmother, and if you want, you pick out any other name in all the world that you want, the most beautiful name in the world that you can think of, any name you want. And if you can get permission from your grandmother or your legal guardians, we'll go down to the courthouse and I'll have your name changed to whatever name you want. The most beautiful name that you can think of in the world, whatever name you can pick, we'll have your name changed. But before you do that, I'd like for you to take at least a day and think about the possibility that you keep the name Kyra, because I think Kyra is a beautiful name too. But if you decide to keep your name, then my request is that you start wearing your name in a different way. You start wearing the name Kyra as if it is the name that you chose for yourself. That you had the opportunity to choose any other name in the world, the most beautiful names you could think of, and you chose Kyra over all of those. Because that's closer to how you should wear your name, and closer to who you really are. And if you choose to keep the name Kyra, good for you. Well, she thought about it for a couple of days, and then she got back to me and said, I've decided to keep my name, Kyra. I've decided to keep that name. Isn't that great? I mean, and don't all of us wear some kind of a victim story like Kyra and how she got her name? Isn't it sort of how we wear our lives sometimes too? Like our whole life is something that someone else chose for us and we're just a victim of that? That's the main reason why I wanted to tell you this story today. Because if your life is a series of little whining complaints, if your life is a series of bits and complaints of unhappiness, or complaints about why the world, as George Bernard Shaw says, why the world isn't dedicating itself to making you happy, then the chances are that the things that you're up to in life are just not big enough. You're not pursuing the true passions of your heart. Because when you connect with the things that you really love and you're really committed to, the little complaints about the discomforts in life, they just fall into the background because you're up to something big. I want to invite you, if you're wrapped up in some kind of sad victim story and you're complaining that life isn't making you comfortable, that you get connected with what it is that you're really committed to accomplishing in life, the things that you feel passionate about, the things that you love, and you go after those things and see whether or not your life doesn't change. What I'm inviting you to do is to choose your life, to start living a life that is your chosen adventure, rather than your BS story about the life you're living that other people have imposed upon you, and oh, woe is me. My life is an adventure. It's my chosen adventure. I'm inviting you to live a life that's your chosen adventure. And if you'd like to read more about the Kyra story or other inspiring stories like that, you'll find them in my book, To Be a Graceful Giant. You can get a copy through me or through Amazon.com. It's called To Be a Graceful Giant. God bless you. Goodbye.